The budget will light the way, and we will use the power of government, stability, investment and reform, partnership across the whole of society, galvanised by clear objectives to deliver on the priorities of the British people. Foundations fixed, public services renewed, a country rebuilt by investment, released from decline, returned once more to the service of working people.
I'm absolutely fed up with Keir Starmer and his endless stream of clichés and absurd rhetoric that he keeps regurgitating. Now, let's bring in Isabel Oakeshott to tear apart the illusions this arrogant Prime Minister is trying to build and drag him back to the grim reality he himself has created for the UK. But before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of the latest updates from the British political scene.
Is anything, I'm so sick of hearing politicians in leadership positions talking about delivering.
Yes.
They're not pizza drivers, are they? They're not Deliveroo people delivering takeaways. Nobody knows what any of this stuff means. And I've seen him at it again today when he's talking about why he feels the need to go all the way over to Brazil for the G20, having just come back from God knows where else, Azerbaijan and all the other globe-trotting he's doing. And he always starts the sentence with, let's be clear.
Yes.
Whenever any politician says, let's be clear, that just means they're playing for time and trying to make themselves sound more important than they actually are and trying to make what they're about to say sound more significant. All he ever does is speak in platitudes.
Yeah.
What people want to see is actual change, not politicians talking about how they've got a plan and they're going to change things and they're going to return Britain to, whatever. What did he say? Something about...
The UK's public services were originally established to meet the needs and desires of its people. But what Starmer is doing completely goes against that purpose, making everything feel out of touch with reality. All his actions are nothing but meaningless theatrics. No one genuinely expects or supports what he is pushing forward.
Look at the state of the country. Does anyone honestly think that Labour is delivering whatever it is he says they're delivering? They're just delivering more woe.
While Keir Starmer is gallivanting around Brazil, trying to build a relationship with President Xi back home, he's completely overlooking a crucial development: the farmers' protests. This is the burning issue the current government faces, one that could directly threaten their grip on power. Jeremy Clarkson, always at the forefront of farming issues, is notably absent this time. His silence only raises further doubts about the current government's ability to govern. According to some police officers I know, they are preparing measures to block protesters from heading towards Westminster, fearing that there may be extreme actions, such as throwing mud at key buildings. To deal with this, they plan to use road-blocking tactics, similar to those used during previous fuel protests, such as stopping convoys on Park Lane. This only exposes the growing tension between the government and the people. The government will undoubtedly try to deal with this by dispersing the farmers' convoys. This could mark a turning point, as dealing with a large and complex protest like this won't be easy. This is just the beginning of a series of future protests, and perhaps a sign of an ongoing chain of chaos. What's worrying is that this government has built a reputation for stubbornness, even when it's clear they've made mistakes in their policies. Rather than admit fault and correct their errors, they cling to their wrong decisions. Keir Starmer is no exception. He and his government have shown this stubbornness when facing important issues like free speech, even pushing things further and making the situation increasingly chaotic. With tensions escalating like this, I have a feeling we've only seen the start of a string of turbulent events. Personally, I feel conflicted when looking at the issue, as I sympathise with the farmers. They're willing to do whatever it takes, even blocking major roads, to protest policies they believe are severely damaging to their family farms. Many might compare the farmers' protest to movements like Stop Oil, a goal that the UK clearly can't achieve on its own. However, the farmers' demands this time are far more practical. They're fighting against a specific policy they believe can and must be changed. This makes their protest far more meaningful and significant than other movements. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the farmers will continue their protest. While this may not be the last time they take to the streets, it's clear this isn't something they do frequently. In contrast, Other protest groups like teachers often organise activities during school holidays to put pressure on the government. When protests happen continuously and in an organised manner, it's a sign that serious issues are beginning to arise. While I personally don't oppose the right to protest, I do believe it needs to be done responsibly and with limits. This farmers' tractor protest could become a significant event in British protest history, where the right to demonstrate has always been held in high regard. However, the government's misguided policies and arrogant attitude have made the current situation feel like a boiling pot. Just a small spark could ignite a major conflict. Meanwhile, Keir Starmer is attending the G20 summit, attempting to forge better relations with China. This directly contradicts the strategy of the United States, where discussions are taking place about imposing tariffs on Chinese goods to protect the domestic market. Instead of rushing to build ties with China, we should focus on developing domestic production capacity and reducing our reliance on imports from China. We must remember that China is not a trustworthy partner. In fact, it's a strategic rival. The idea that Keir Starmer wants to establish a serious pragmatic relationship with China and believes that its leaders will treat the UK fairly is a dangerous illusion and far from realistic. He should be spending his time and energy addressing the serious domestic issues at hand, rather than chasing after such risky foreign relations. To view a friendly relationship with China as a wise strategy is truly naive and unrealistic. China continues to push its global imperial ambitions, and the UK is little more than a pawn in their power game. It's laughable to think that Keir Starmer, with all his naivety, believes he could become a reliable partner. China is simply looking for a useful idiot, and without a doubt, Starmer fits that role perfectly. They are ready to exploit his gullibility and weakness, while the UK bends over backwards, getting nothing of value in return. Given the current situation, the best opportunity for the UK is to focus on strengthening its relationship with the United States, even though the current government is run by people lacking both ability and vision. Just look at Donald Trump's re-election campaign.
We can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States. He will be going back to the White House.
His campaign video created a powerful image, asserting that he will return to the White House with a commitment to fight for America's future and its people. Trump strongly declared that he would restore America to its former glory, igniting a sense of patriotism and determination. This raises the question, can Keir Starmer do the same for the UK? Does he have the ability to stir patriotism and instill confidence in a bright future? Starmer is trying to build an international image, but he simply cannot match Trump's charisma. While Trump promises clear and specific changes, Starmer just repeats empty pledges, leaving listeners feeling disillusioned. Trump's video conveys an inspiring message, sparking enthusiasm and making viewers feel motivated to contribute to a stronger America. In contrast, it's hard to imagine Starmer generating any excitement like that among the British people. It seems that the UK needs a leader with strength and vision, someone who can restore the country to a proud position on the world stage, rather than a politician who merely spouts empty slogans without any substance like Starmer. Voters in the UK seem to crave a new energy, a powerful force and passionate spirit, a clear sense of a bright and glorious future ahead, much like Trump's video. The British people want to see a leader who can inspire and bring hope for positive breakthrough change. Yet, with Keir Starmer, they only see lackluster management, a lack of vitality, and even a sense of weak governance with no vision. That is the most disappointing part, because instead of creating excitement and trust, Starmer only brings boredom and mediocrity, missing the opportunity to create the real change the country desperately needs.